public void set default direction. And what this method does, and also this is probably in the second part now, so sorry if the transfer didn't really work, but I'm just going to record quite a lot of content and then I'll upload it over a period of time. Alright, so this method is basically going to be called, so it will set the direction dependent on where the player is standing in relation to the block. If that makes it. You'll see when we get into it. So it place the front facing you wherever you're standing. So this is going to take a world variable of world. Can't type today. An integer of I, an integer of j, and an integer of k. So this is quite complicated, and at the end over there I don't understand all of this, but I'm going to try and explain it the best I can. So if the world, if the world is remote, then it's going to return nothing. So basically, if the world is a multiplayer world, so if the client, this client that we're coding, is connected to a multiplayer world, then it's going to return nothing, I believe. I'm not too sure about that one. But the next thing we want to do, oh dear, we're going to have some clashes with names. So int x equals world dot get block ID I j k. Wait one sec. Alright, I'm back, sorry about that. So we're going to make a new integer here. We're going to define a new integer called x, and that is going to equal world dot get block ID the I variable, the j variable, and then k, which is backwards and forwards variable -1. So this is going to be the block behind it, I believe. Then an integer of y equals world dot get block ID I j k again, but this time it's going to be k plus 1. And then we're going to do an integer of z, so x, y, z, which is going to be equal to world dot get block ID I j k, and then that is going to be the first variable plus 1. And then finally we're going to have an integer of L, which is equal to world, oh wait, I did something wrong there. This one sorry, should be -1. And then this is going to be equal to world dot get block ID I j k, and then this is going to be +1. So basically this is getting each variable for which block you're standing on around this block, kind of. Yeah, you'll probably see later on. And then we're going to set a byte called byte 0. Called byte 0, which is equal to 3. Then we're going to have an if statement, which is saying if block dot opaque cube lookup x and isn't block dot opaque cube lookup y, sorry. Then byte equals 3. Byte 0, sorry, equals 3. So basically what this is saying, if the block.opaque cube lookup x position does pass and the y one doesn't pass, then the byte is going to equal 3. You don't really need to understand this bit. This is just setting the different directions dependent on where your player is standing. It's quite confusing, to be honest. So if we just copy this statement 2, 3, 4 times, I think. Yeah, 4 times. Then the second one wants to be y. This third one wants to be z. And this last one wants to be L. So it goes X, Y, Z, L. And then on this side it goes Y, X, L, Z. Oops. But then the bytes change, so it's going to go 3, 2, 5, and then 4. And then finally you're going to do world.set block metadata with notify. I J K byte 0. So basically what this is saying is this will set the byte equal to the correct direction for which block you're standing on. You don't really need to understand that. So it would be 3, 2, 5 or 4. And then this basically sets the block, so sets the block direction to our ijk variable at a position of byte 0. So basically the metadata is defining the angle in which it's placed. And then X, Y, Z, all these are the different positions according to the block in which you stand. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's not that hard to get your head round if you just have a look at it. I don't know why he not uses bytes here. Actually, he probably could use integers, but we're just going to stick with the bytes for now. So that is the set default direction. So then we need to add that to here. So if we basically copy this name and then add the arguments, basically this method we want to call it when the block is added, and it wants the world and the ijk variables. These ijk variables are basically, if you think about coordinates on a graph, you have the it's not really like a graph. You have the x and the y variables, the y being the up and down variable, which in this case is j, so that is the height of where your block is placed within the world. And then the I variable is the bottom axis of where it's placed in the world, and then the k is the 3D axis, which is going backwards. So basically when this method runs, it also defines these three where you're placing the block in the world, and then you're just setting this so we can use it in this method. And that's probably going to be the end of the second tutorial, so thanks for watching. And we're going to move on to the third tutorial. So we're still on this class, sorry about that guys, I know this is dragging out over a long period of time, but there's a lot to get through. So the next one we are going to do, so we are going to, we don't really need all of these methods. We're going to do the next method is going to be, let me just scroll down, a public boolean called block activated. and that is going to take a world variable called world, an integer called I, an integer called j, can't type, integer called j, and an integer called k.